Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I'm going to turn this around and hope that you can actually see me. Hi. Um, we are down in my paint room as we were with the last art therapy session. And I'm going to show you. This is the pink and red and white Canada Day edition. If you see closely, you can see these little ribbons and fingerlings. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, even though the white didn't come out at all, really. And then do you remember? Oh, I haven't varnished it yet. This is the record that we did. So all of that green in the center ended up turning out just really cool with all of those really neat designs. That is going to make a fantastic clock for someone, let me tell you. So I'm really happy with how those turned out. Unfortunately, I am currently looking for my easel. Yeah, I know. I'm in an art studio and I don't know where my easel is. Can you see what's going on around me? Yeah, let's just do a quick once around. Yes, this is the hole that is my art studio. And when my husband gets home, I'm going to ask him if he can tell me, where am I here? If he can tell me where on earth my easel went, because it shouldn't be upstairs. And if it's upstairs, well, it's too late. Well, I guess I could take you upstairs with me and we could look for it together, but that's okay. So I am going to paint on an 18 by 24 inch. There's two that come in a pack from Artist Loft, from Michaels. And I do not currently have a camera person, so I'm going to get you to excuse me for just a moment, and I will see if I can grab one. One moment, please. Okay, so no luck on the camera person. Perhaps when my husband gets home, he'll be able to. But for right now, we'll just chat. I cannot see your, and I may have just cut off my head. I don't know. Come on, there we go. All right. Life is so much more difficult when you don't have a screen in front of you to figure out what on earth is going on. It's like when I was doing hair, trying to cut hair when you can't see what's going on in front makes life a little difficult. So we are going to be doing 18 by 24. We're going to do a landscape, and I'd like some, once the time comes, I would like some input as to what type of landscape you want me to do. But I'm going to show you some really cool pieces that I've done in the last couple of weeks. Look at this guy. I love it. It is going to make a gorgeous clock for somebody. I have someone in mind to give it to them as a gift, but I don't know for sure. This is a bloom where the white took over a whole lot more than I was anticipating. Like I said, you don't have a whole lot of control over sometimes what. Okay. You don't have a whole lot of control over what the white does. If you look closely, you can see that there are colors besides white in, are you just going to run away and not help me with this? And actually put it into something for me because I can't see a thing. So anyway, if you choose not to, that's okay. Just yell at your dad when he gets home. And then another one that didn't quite turn out the way I had anticipated. Again, the white took over, but I love the way it turned out. And so these are painted on glass. And you can hear that in there. Now this one, the white tried to take over. As you can see, there's a few spots where we have some cells, but I didn't let it. I didn't do the blowing with the added cell activator. That made a huge difference. So even for those of us who are artists, who've been practicing art for quite some time, it's still practice. It's all a matter of chemistry. And I don't always know what chemistry is going to work with what. We'll have to see. And here's another one. This one I just varnished. I may put another layer on. Again, I love how it turned out. For people who don't want a lot of color, they just want that whole black and white look in their room. I think that's really cool. And finally, the last piece of glass. As you can see, it is simply a piece of glass. Is this one. So this will be framed in this silver frame. I will. Do I want to lacquer that one again as well? I might. It's not quite as brilliant as I want it. So I think I'll leave that out of the frame for now, and I will lacquer it later. So I'm going to turn the, there we go. Going to turn the camera around so that I can see if there are any comments or concerns or anything like that. Because this is just my painting table, as you can see, it's already got lots of paint on it. I'm wearing a painting shirt. I'm wearing painting pants. Yes, I am a painting person. So I am going to turn this camera around. Ooh, the little guys. These are the littlest ones I've done. These are 5x7s. Aren't they cute? I like them. This one, total ocean vibes. Total ocean vibes on that, for sure. And then this one, when you look at the shine, you can see the depth of the color. It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love it. Oh, and it sounds like Mr. Keeper might be home. And with my luck and my skill, I can pretty much guarantee that the easel that I'm looking for is exactly where it's supposed to be, and I'm just not seeing it. That would be me. So let me turn you around and we will take a look at the colors that we can use. Okay, oh, love them all. Okay, so let's see. Crystal, hi Crystal, hi Janet. Okay, Janet, yes, Janet, I paint in acrylic. Oils are a little smelly, and on top of that, they take a long time to dry. And I am very impatient, so, you know, that's how it goes. And the fact that you two are both prairie girls, you can help me out with this one. I want to do either a sunset um, with an experiment kind of thing, or a prairie landscape where this time of year where you have the patches of gold from the canola and green from other different different shades of green from different crops. The patchwork that is the prairie that I absolutely love. We can do some more clouds, etc. And yeah, just let me know what you think. So if we do, here we go. Let's look down. Oh, yes, the canola against a stormy, dusky blue sky. Yes, absolutely. That is magnificent. I was watching a country lane. Yes, that's nice too. Oh, yeah, I can just picture little wildflowers sprouting up every now and again. See my nails? I got them done the other day. Maybe it was only yesterday. But they're little, there we go, little bouquets. I absolutely love them. My nail artist is just so fantastic. She's wonderful. Anyway, things that bring me joy, Oh, very pretty nails. Thank you, Janet. So we like the canola idea. Okay. I am thinking canola. I have yellow here. We will need green for the background, a nice deep green for the background for the grass type area. We will need some blues for the sky. And I'm not going to use a metallic. What can I use for blue? I think I'll probably use this brilliant blue again, just like we did last time. And I'll mix that down with some white. Let's use, not a lot in that one. Let's use this white. So I'll mix it down with that white. Let's see what else we need. We need a few different greens. So I'll use some yellow mixed with the green, some blue mixed with the green, some simple green. We've got some items to use for clouds and scrumbling, etc. You have a canola field across the road from me? Oh, yeah. Live on an acreage looking at the bright yellow right now. Oh, I love that look. That is one of my favorite times of year. This is people who aren't from the prairies don't understand the vastness and the beauty and majesty of the expanse in which we live. They say, oh, there's nothing around. Well, that's not true. Over here, there's the canola field where your margarine comes from. Over here is the oats where your granola bars and oatmeal and stuff come from. Over here is the rye and barley that your alcohol comes from. Over here is the wheat where your bread comes from. We simply have everything. Crystal, yes, we actually haven't even discussed whether or not you want to paint. Big sky, absolutely. The big sky is exactly what it is. Now, do you live toward the mountain area or more into the prairie area, Janet? That would be kind of cool to know. And I might put some little dabs of wildflowers on the edge. Red deer. Okay, so you live, my sister's ex-husband lives in Red Deer, and so does her son. So I have two pieces, well, one piece of family and one ex-person thing. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of his. So anyways, but yeah, we can do some little spattering of some wildflowers around the edge of the fields as well. So this is going to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? It is impressionistic. Impressionistic means that you are not going to look at and see specifically, this is this, this is this, this is this. You're going to see more of a representation. It's going to be more splotchy than you are going to look at if you were looking for something more photorealistic. And that's one of the reasons I quit doing. The windrows are beautiful as well. Absolutely. All the bushes and rows. Oh, for sure. Something else I was thinking of doing is perhaps a field of hay. So the greens in the field, and then the stripes going across for the rows that have been harvested, and then the bales, the round bales, I thought would be very cool. I might do that for a different day. But yeah, that's something else that really inspires me, is being able to look at what we've got for everything that we have around us, the bounty that comes on the prairie. I love it. Oh, I can't tell you how much. Anyways, so let's, I'm going to have you two chat amongst yourselves, because I'm just going to see if the man is upstairs. And I will get back to you in a moment. So sorry for this break in time. Okay, so I remembered where I put it. So we're going to switch the camera around. Crystal, she's melting. Oh, hang on, hang on, hang on. The windrows, our hayfield is going to be cut tomorrow. Oh, fantastic. Absolutely. They grow hay, grain, canola, and legumes. Wonderful. And of course, cattle. Absolutely. And melting. Do you happen to have a basement you can be in? That's where I am now. And frankly, that's the way it works. So I'm going to switch the camera around. First, I'm going to not turn it off. More. Settings. Camera. Oh no, that's the one I want. Okay. Okay. We are simply going to set it up so that we can see what's going on. Hello. Okay. My easel. After last time we used it, I had it in, you can stretch it out and everything. There we go. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to do an 18 by 24. I am going to use some water, of course. Where's my water? There it is. As you can see, all of my tools and utensils are, I would say, very well loved, but I don't know. Some of them get abused more than anything else. So there's that. There is that. Look at this puppy. That's huge. Love it. And I frequently will put glazing on with it so it dries kind of stiff. So I really have to get the stiffness out of the bristles. before I use it. There we go. Okay. And I was shaking a paint bottle that I was thinking of using this evening. This one, in fact. And I took it, and can you see in here where there's paint all around there? When I squeezed it, the paint all came up and out and all over me, all over. Oh no, there's still paint here on my. Okay, that's okay. On my frames, I need to fix that. So, yeah, it was quite the afternoon's experience. Let me tell you, it was fun. Doug, can you read what's in the chat? Is anyone saying anything? They probably can't hear you simply because the audio is coming through my headset, and they shouldn't be able to hear you very well. I've been painting since about 2017. I've been painting regularly. So it wasn't exactly a what's it called, a COVID kind of thing. It was definitely more of a healing, absolutely a healing opportunity for me. And it just occurred to me that I do not have a palette. So I will simply not use a palette. Actually, do you remember what I said I'd use for a palette? I said I would use a disposable plate or a ice cream lid. And since I do not have ice cream lids around, I have an ice cream bucket. My disposable plates are in the storage room. I could also just use a record, which I have plenty of. Or the delightful husband can get me my needed supply. Hey, just need one, but thank you. Okay, disposable plate. We're going to use more of this turquoise color. So remember last time we had way too much color? I'm going to try really hard not to do that this time. So instead, I'm going to use about that much of the turquoise. We're going to use about twice that for white. And again, this is the metallic white. So we've got our turquoise, we've got our white. No, I won't use neon blue. I might add a little bit of this toward the end, just for some character in the sky. I will need some green. Do we have any other greens? Like in a squishy, no, in a squish bottle. No. There we go. So this is this with pouring medium in it. So let's see how much of this we have. No, I don't want green glitter. Although, if we had yellow glitter, not gold, but yellow, that might be a nice addition for the canola. There we go. No, I have lots of gold. Thank you, though. So we've got our sky, clouds. We've got the green. We're going to use green first, and then we're going to go over top of the green with our yellow, because that's how you see a canola field. It's not just solid yellow. There is green behind. And much like the sky, you wouldn't have just, well, no, you would in winter. You might not just have a solid white sky. Chances are there will be blue in there. But same as last time, there's two big rules. What's the first rule? Anybody remember the first rule? It's a big one. Don't drink the paint water. That's right. That's the first rule. Okay, and what's the second rule? Nobody knows what the second rule is? A dry canvas is a thirsty canvas. So we're going to put a little bit of water on the canvas just to keep it from soaking up too much, from getting too much paint all in one spot. And we're going to, there we go. How's the angle of the canvas, honey? Can you see it well? Okay. Do I know a purple tube? Purple tube of what? Oh, no, I don't know a purple tube. Hello, purple tube. Nice to meet you. We are going to do a prairie field scene. It's going to have sky. It's going to have a horizon. It's going to have different squares of the different colors of crops, including, I think, a very large canola field, because that just looks so amazing. That is so indicative of our Western prairie provinces here in Saskatchewan and Alberta. Janet G is from Alberta. I'm from Saskatchewan. And it just, it gives me joy to be able to work with what we've got here. So let's start out with the sky. Let's just go across here. There we go. There. This has a piece of wood in the back, so we're going to bump up against that every now and then. And like I said last time, it doesn't have to be perfectly even or, let's do across the top here. This is part that I don't frequently do, but I am today. Not exactly sure why, but anyway. Okay, and as with any horizon, as we know, things do get whiter further you go down. And even though this is a daytime sky, it still gets whiter down towards the horizon. So we're going to add white in with our blue here. And as you can see, it is going to be more of a babyish blue on the sides here, on the sides here. Okay, you'll also know that as you go through and have your clouds, you do have these wispy clouds throughout. So you're going to have your, there we go, we're going to have our very big scrumbly clouds that we're going to have again. There we go. We're going to wait for a little bit to do those because I don't know if you recall, it helps a whole lot to be able to have some dry. Okay, my YouTube decided to play. Douglas, can you see if that can go away? Hang on. if you hit the 3-bar button. And we are going to clean the brush fairly well. Remember, you don't have to do lots of weird things with your brush. Just at the bottom of most of these cups has these little ridges. You swirl around to those ridges, and it comes pretty darn clean. Okay, so here we go with some green. Now, if you notice on here, the green has a shimmer of gold to it. I love that because when you've got your prayer, when you've got your wind and your sails and that sort of thing, you don't have just green. Oh, gracious. An entire backdrop for a model train layout, I would probably charge. That's exactly right. It depends how big it is. My usual rate is 60 cents a square inch, plus materials. So if I need to have, like I said, depends on the size of your backdrop. Alfonso, do you collect trains? Is that what you do? Doug, I don't know if you were around the other day when Alfonso was on for game day, but he is a musician who is visually challenged. He is legally blind, and he plays lots of instruments. It's super cool. And I'm going to tell you a secret that most artists know, although some of them don't know that they know it. It's just the way it is. It's the law of thirds. You don't ever want to have half and half. You want to have a third, and a third. So I can either bring the fields up or I can take the sky down. I think I'm going to take the fields up because I want to have a wide variety of fields. There we go. And it doesn't have to be, I know people think of our prairies as being extremely flat, but hey, we have molehills. We have a variety of textures in our landscaping too sometimes. So I don't like to go completely flat. I don't see a lot of that in nature, and I like to go with what's in nature a fair bit. So there we go. Hey, Kristen, how you doing? Glad you're here.
Yes, I do.
Line O, line L to O, or something like that.
Scale model trains as well.
Yep.
A few of the HO scale.
Okay. Yep. My stepdad used to collect trains, and he did HO, you said? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was an HO scale. Yeah, it was somewhat small, but definitely big enough to make a difference. Like it's more than just the teeny weeny itty bitty. Like it was about, what, 10 inches to a foot long for a car, something like that. Okay. So here we go. So now we've got a little bit of our green. You can see we've got some patches of green, different colors of green. What's that?
Kristen says, I rescued 3 small canvas from a dumpster today.
Awesome! Yep, buying the paint, depending on what you're going to do as to what type of paint you're going to buy too. Okay, so we're going to let this dry just a minute. And then I'm going to layer it up with a bit more of the green. We're going to get some darker green in there. In other words, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of black. And I do mean tiny, tiny bit of black. Yep, they got to see this earlier. Isn't this a lovely... Oh, I should turn on my other light. There we go. So we're going to put a little bit more green on the plate. And make rude noises, that's right. Ugh. Kristen Melinda, do you ever paint with your son? That would be a really cool sensory thing if he doesn't mind getting his fingers dirty. Children with developmental difficulties either love it or hate it. There's not usually kind of an ambiguous feeling toward painting when it comes to certain children.
Janet wants to, she's always wanted to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Can't decide whether it's best to start from a learning perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Acrylic or watercolors.
They are two very different animals. Acrylic is very forgiving. I personally don't have the patience for watercolor. Watercolor, you have to, you put it down on your paper. It'll be done on paper, not canvas generally. And then you put it down on your paper, and then you need each layer to dry, which is even more difficult. You'll notice I am still not leaving this alone. And I can do that because it's acrylic. If this was watercolor, I would be making it super muddy. Super muddy. It would look nasty. And that's what tends to happen to me with watercolor. Now, you'll see, I'm going to start texturizing a bit of the green. I'm going to add, instead of black, I'm going to add just a touch, and I do mean a touch, of blue.
So what's the normally use latex paint that is normally used on the material wall versus acrylic paint.
Yes, actually, you totally can. I have used latex. Latex and acrylic are essentially the same thing, not 100%, but they're like close cousins. They both basically dry to a plastic type finish, and they're both water-based. There we go. So there we go. I'm going to start texturizing this quarter of land over here, because as we go through our farmlands, they are called quarters. And in Saskatchewan, I don't remember. I lived in Alberta for quite a number of years, but I don't remember. Do we call side roads or gravel roads grid roads in Alberta? Or is that just a Saskatchewan thing? Because the road will be done, or the land is split up into grids or squares. Now, as I'm bouncing this on the canvas, you will notice that I really don't want to keep it all one. I don't want to make it too uniform, okay? But you will also notice that I am stopping right in a certain area, okay? So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to do, when we're done, I'm going to add some slight line work down here, and we're going to do, okay, let's do this with a bit of added yellow instead of added blue. No, don't worry about that. I'll show them. Okay, so we're going to add some yellow to the palette. There we go. So now we've got our green, adding a touch of yellow. So we're going to have more of a yellowy type, almost limey kind of color for a different crop. And when I said at the beginning that this is going to be very much impressionistic, that's what I'm looking for. This is what I mean, is I'm not creating the actual look of a head of wheat or a canola flower or something like that. I'm going to do this just to get the paint on. Then I'm going to bounce again. There we go. So we get that slightly more mottled look that I'm after here. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The more a child can do as they're playing, the more they learn. And it is essential to kids to be able to learn as they're playing. Kind of the point of play, isn't it, Kristen? No, but Kristen is a psychologist.
Oh.
She would know the answer to this type of thing, I think. I don't know. Can you guys hear my husband as he's talking, or is it just me sounding like I'm talking to a ghost? Because that would be fun too. So, okay, so there's that. Okay, let's do more of the bluey green. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Ah, hi, Rick. How you doing? Nice to have you, Rick. Rick has an amazing sense of humor. We love Rick. Oh, there you go. But in Saskatchewan, we use the nickname of grid roads because it forms a true like graph paper. It's really quite hilarious. And then we have slight curve, like some roads that just kind of do this wild curve. It's called a correction line because the circle of the Earth does not go in a grid. We are not a flat Earth. Ask any engineer. Okay. Crystal can hear you because she knows what you sound like. Sorry, yeah, she's just like she needs to correct me on that every now and then. Okay. But can you see how even in just this little deviation of color, how we are seeing strips of fields and how they are going to be showing up here? Without this base of green, you would have just all this white behind, and that just wouldn't look right. So we're gonna I started talking about correction lines. Remember the non-grid road? The fact that we are not a flat Earth society. Yes, we are a rounded trapezoid. So, I'm going to go up here again. There we go. All right. Yeah, on camera it does look blue, but when you see it in person, it's incredibly green. It's very, very green. So now I'm going to do kind of a line down here. Maybe I'll put some trees or something like that in here. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll end up with some trees in that area. Okay. And then we're going to do another set of crops. Maybe we'll go the other way around. We'll do the yellower crop at the top. Okay, there we go. Something that's different in Saskatchewan and Alberta versus, say, out east, where you have a lot of the, where Canada is essentially quite a bit older. Out here, like I said, we have a lot of grids. So it's going to be very much a farm on this section of land is what it's. Whereas in Ontario and especially Quebec, you will see them in strips from a body of water. So you don't have a cross by a road or a railway track or something like that. You will have it by a body of water. And those strips started out as squares like this, but then as each individual family the children would inherit, you'd have each child would get a strip of land. So if you have 4 sons, instead of cutting into a square, you would do it in 4 strips. And then you would do it into smaller strips. So you have a lot of strip farming out east. Okay, now let's do. Yep, the strips come off rivers so that they can access the water. But then when they inherited, the strips would get smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, let's. There we go. And the colors that we're using. I'm thinking. I made these way too square. They should be more trapezoidal because they're going off in the distance. This is much more straight down from an airplane look. See, this is, again, you practice painting, this is what happens. So let's Becca Jean has joined us. Hi, Becca Jean. Nice to see you. Or rather, nice that you're seeing us. I really appreciate you showing up. Okay. So I'm giving a quick history of the Old West, aka farming life in the Canadian prairies. Okay. Now we're going to go even more yellow. And this is the background for the canola that I was talking about. Canola is what's used when you have your margarine, your base cell margarine and that kind of stuff. You can use either corn oil or canola oil. A lot of margarine comes from canola. Ah, who else is painting, Becca Jean? I'd love to know. I want to see some. Ah, are you painting? That'd be cool. Oh yeah, canola oil is definitely used for frying. It's one of the best shortenings you can use. I don't recall, is it low in saturated fats? I just got myself full of paint. And this is why I have paint pants. Okay. My husband's laughing at me. Oh, so what are the comments? Read me the comments. It's no fun if you get to see the comments and I don't. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so is it the canola oil is nasty, or is the smell of canola processing, is that nasty? I know that the smell of canola processing, I lived in a teeny weeny town in northern Alberta called Sexsmith. Not a bad place for a Bible school, huh? Oh yeah. So we lived up there for a little while my dad was in college at Bible school. And right beside the school was their canola processing plant. Holy! That was nastiness. That was terrible. Oh. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, you'll also notice that remember what I said about doing the tapping when we were doing our last sky? I was twisting the brush so it didn't always go the same direction. I don't know if you can hear the drum beat that is my painting. They do, absolutely. It is really a buttery smell. And that's one of the reasons, that's one of the things that we associate with canola, right, is the canola oil, and therefore the margarine and that buttery smell. I am going to create a whole little trapezoid here of canola. Some of these are going to be very, very, there we go. Okay, and the fact that there's green showing through is not a bad thing, because when you look at a canola field, you will notice that there will be pieces that are more advanced in their ripening than other areas. Okay, now this time I'm definitely going to have to wash off the brush because I do not want green in the sky. Very pretty color of green in the water. Janet, I did not hear you say Janet said that I had the right yellow. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate that. I appreciate that Janet knows the right color of yellow.
She's looking out the window at the flowering canola field right now.
That's right. She lives near Red Deer, on an acreage just out of Red Deer.
And the green.
Yep. I was watching the green. I was watching the fields as I brought my daughter home from work today. And I was looking at the different colors and different rows and that sort of thing. And I was really paying attention to the green of the canola, or the yellow of the canola, and how much green you actually see in that. So, you know, I'm really, thank you, Janet. I'm glad you noticed. Okay, now we're going to do, I need another piece of paper towel. Oh, way too green. Okay. Doug, could you grab me another cup, please? I'm going to get some fresh water for this, because I really don't want green up back there. I don't know if you can see the green that's still coming off of my brush, but it's more green than I want. Thank you. And my lovely reused water bottle, handed to me by my erstwhile handsome assistant. Erstwhile. Decided to use that word today. No idea why. Okay. There we go. Do you remember I also told you don't paint all the way up to here? Because what happens is then when you're cleaning off your brush, you can go all the way up to there and you'll have a buildup of color. And you don't want that for sure. Okay, and Doug, can you grab me another plate? I'm going to use blues and whites. Oh, right behind me though. Okay. Is there any paint left in here? There is, there is. There we go. And I'm going to scoop the white that's over here. I'm going to put it on this other plate because I want to, I don't want to waste it. So I'm using my handy dandy little scoopy tool. And yes, I know that there's a tiny bit of green in there. That's not going to hurt anything. There we go. So do you people remember the name of the technique that's used when you make big puffy clouds. Starts with an S. It sounds kind of fun, in my humble yet accurate opinion. Anybody? Anybody? Oh, hi, Misha. That's Misha. Like Michigan, but without the gun. That's how she explains it.
Were you talking about stippling?
No, close to stippling. Close to it. That's what I was doing down here. That would be more stippling down here. It's called scrumbling. Scrumbling is the going in circles to make a cloud type pattern or a cloud type effect. Smooshing? Well, this unfortunately is an actual artist's term, so I really shouldn't change it. Okay, maybe. There we go. There's the teal that's already in the sky. What is it, dear? Lols. My husband isn't exactly high in the knowledge of, you know. Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yes, you are now Mr. My Other's Keeper, by the way. So, yeah, you don't actually have a name of your own anymore. Okay, as you can see, there is some texture to the clouds, and it's simply because of the texture of the brush. You can see the texture of the brush like that. It creates texture in the clouds. Okay. Now that everybody is sick from moving around, Doug just figured out why he has a job. Because he needs to keep the camera straight. No, it's just this part sinks. Oh, no, the base does as well. Never mind. My stand does sink funny. Okay. A little bit more white. It's always easier to add more than take it off. So we're just going to add a little bit more white to the plate so we're not... Ah! Ask me how happy I am. You are darn lucky I was planning on putting water there. You are darn lucky. I would be losing it right now if I wasn't. If you ever want to find out a personal joke of ours that has to do with being annoyed with your spouse, DM me. I'll tell you the joke. It'll make a lot more sense when you can read it. Not terribly happy, in fact. Yeah. So happy I could just spit. Okay, so now we're going to mix in a little bit of this teal in with the white, and we're going to put in just some deep colors in there. To kind of give it that slightly, not stormy-ish, but slightly more textured look to the sky. Now, when you look at the sky, something that most people don't even think of is that there's usually a line to the bottom of clouds. They're rarely puffy all the way down. So we are actually going to use that to our advantage. And we are going to create this line. I am going to drop this on the floor. There we go. We're going to create this line down here. Clouds do really interesting things. Different types of clouds, different classifications of clouds will have very different textures, etc. My mom's husband, I think I might have told you this last time, he was a meteorologist for the Navy back in the days when they actually had to use charts. And there was none of this lazy digital imaging going on there. It was all just charts and drawings. And he was super accurate when it came to even long distance forecasting of weather. Like he could see what was going to happen days away. So he can even look up in the sky now and he could be able to tell you, okay, you see that group of clouds over there? That's moving this fast. And therefore, in however long, this weather phenomena is going to happen. It's amazing. Okay, now, I bought this little number from my local hardware store. It is a piece of nylon, I think, cement. That's what they called it. It's like got this really weird name to it. But the interesting part of it is, I cleaned out our sink upstairs. Yeah, it's a scouring pad, but you'll see that it has a very loose texture. Now, I was looking for a specific type of brush. Do you remember I told you to do the spreading out of the brush, but don't do it to all your brushes? Well, this is what I'm using instead. So, in order to get a very, very abstract look of the sky, we're going to use this little number. And we're going to get some more white here. Okay, there we go. And much like the tapping that I did with the canola down at the bottom, I'm doing the same type of tapping up here to get texture into the clouds. Okay, Alfonso, are you able to follow this as we're going? Okay. Yes, Misha's right. She loves to use different tools for different techniques. My husband is not keeping up on reading me the chat. He is failing as a cameraman. Crystal loves the clouds, huh? Me too. Clouds are so much fun. I love looking at clouds. Okay. Now I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush because, well, this one's just huge. I'm going to there we go. Put it in some water down here so it doesn't dry and get all gross on me here. There we go. And I think this is the brush I want to use. Both of these brushes would be just as good. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll use the shorter one because the bristles will be firmer than this one. Although the bristles look firm, when you get them wet, they won't splay properly. So, and Doug's laughing at me again. I don't know why.
Janet, is there something special that you have to do where the horizon meets the sky?
Yes and no. I'm planning on just putting like some trees or something like that there. It depends on what the perspective is that you want. I am going to be putting some water over here, and that will help to reflect the sky. So you will have some more excitement when it comes to that. And I'm just going to use this to put paint on the brush. And then, did I mention white is the color you use more than almost anything else on a painting? Because it goes with very literally everything. Woohoo! Who's Uber Jelly? Misha. Yes. Okay. Misha has recently been a guest on my channel, and she will be a guest once again, probably next month, I'm going to assume. Actually, I'm going to say definitely couldn't be before next month because the rest of this month is booked. So, and I know I should probably be talking through all of this, but you know, y'all can talk to each other. I trust you. You know, when you laugh, you have to tell me what's going on, right, dear?
So Michelle likes to give the work. Michelle says having an area where everything is laid out away and come back and everything is how you left it.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful.
It is absolutely fantastic. Now, it probably won't be a shock to many people. I tend to leave a trail wherever I go. Anybody with ADHD would get that. And most of us very creative people are also like that, in that we do something and then we forget that we're doing it. And then it's like, oh my goodness, what was I doing? Drives my husband absolutely bonkers.
Kids.
It drove my mom just as bonkers too when I was growing up. One of these days, I'm going to do a painting for y'all that has my least favorite element to do, and that is trees. In particular, evergreen type trees like my husband's like, yeah, those are great. I love them. He did very well with doing those. I, on the other hand, not so much.
I grew up in the sticks.
Yeah, he grew up in the sticks, but then again, so did I. He and I lived in the same small town for a short period of time. Yes, Crystal has an amazing craft area in her place. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you'll notice what I'm doing is these little teeny weeny tidbits of blue have kind of dried. So now I'm just going to mush them up and soften them out just a touch. Not enough to get rid of them, just enough to kind of create a space where they are. Okay, so they're not just going to look like pieces of random blue dots. I'm frozen again, am I? Okay. So we're not going to have random blue dots. We're going to, and I'm using an incredibly light hand with this because I do want to really be able to keep the dottiness of it without actually having the dots. Okay. Yes, my phone likes to bow down to the Empress of painting, aka me. Okay. There we go. Oh, we're gonna. There we go. Super light touch so that you don't have that. You're not reblending everything. You just want it to go a little bit more into the. There we go. So now you see how we have some blue dots down here. We are going to use just a touch of water, not a ton, just a touch. Ah, absolutely. Oh yeah, ceramic shops are great. I loved doing ceramics when I was in industrial arts. It was so fun. There we go. Let me look. Okay. Now, it looks really funny that I am just doing clouds really close to the horizon, when in fact, what that's doing is it's pushing the eye back. and it's making it look like the sky is further away and up here is closer to you. So it's kind of one of those tricks of the eye. I don't know what's making the trick, engineer. Tell me what's making the trick.
What did you do to create distance?
To create distance, I am putting clouds further down toward.
Okay, just the fact that they're.
Yeah, the fact that they're at the bottom. That's right. I'm sorry, I thought my husband would have a scientific explanation as to why these things were the way they were. Okay. Now we're going to go over to this area and we're going to create water because, well, we've already started. All right. So okay. All right, so we're going to create an edge kind of like this. It's going to just kind of go off the side. Maybe I'll do a stream or a river of some sort over here, which is why that particular canola field has ended where it did. That was really good English, isn't it? Has ended where it did. Okay, so then we'll do this. There we go. We'll have that. How's my French? Trump. Yeah, I know I know what you're trying to say. Oile. Oeil. Okay. Trompe l'oeil. Trompe l'oeil. I don't remember what that is. Please remind me, because I am not that wise in the ways of my French anymore.
Apparently, we're switching to French.
Maybe. C'est bon. No, that'd be C. I did an art show on Sunday. It was called Art in the Park. And it was so cool. We had people from all over the place, including a particular vendor who was from the Congo in Africa. And in Congo, they speak, their two first languages are French and Swahili. And I know how to say, I think, 2 words in Swahili. And I know quite a bit more in French. But okay. The extent of my French, I lived in a teeny weeny itty bitty little French town in Alberta for a few years. When I was in my mid-teens or early teens, that was the first place I had major panic attacks. And that's the first place where my bipolar started to really rear its ugly head, was in this little itty bitty town. And that's the town where I learned how to speak French. And it was about 95% French and Catholic, and I was Irish and Baptist. So I didn't really have a whole lot in common with a lot of the kids in my class. But they loved being able to come talk to me because my dad was the pastor of the Baptist church, and as a Catholic, they of course had to go to confession all the time, and they had to go talk to their priest and tell them everything that they had done wrong. And so I had a group of about 4 guys who would surround me in my math class, and they would like say, okay, so you mean you don't really actually have to tell your dad all your sins? And I'm like, no. That would be awkward. And they figured, yeah, that is awkward, that's for sure.
Janet's good at test for you.
Yes,
For me.
for Misha.
I can have a little, can you say in French, I have a little frog in my throat?
Oh boy, j'ai un petit. I forgot the word for frog. Grenouille dans ma. C'est pas ma bouche. That's my mouth. Gorge. Okay. See?
In case you ever need to say that. You have a little frog in your throat. There's a estimated it looks beautiful, but pretty than our image does such a romantic thing.
Yep.
As well as get the perspective of others.
Yep. So as you can see, the sky is being reflected in the water. And so some of the clouds are showing up. Similar shapes are coming out there. Okay. Mm. Okay. Bringing the water down a little further. We have a frog in our pond here. We have a little pond in our backyard built with child labor. The girls were 5 and 6 years old and absolutely loved digging. It was great. So we have a little pond in our backyard. And every now and then you can hear the frogs just a chirping away. I'm at an hour and a half already? Oh my goodness. My husband is concerned for our well-being. Okay. Welcome to a paint class, honey. This is how long it takes. Okay. So there's our water. It needs something kind of this direction, doesn't it? It's not looking quite right. I'm thinking it might need some trees. So what are we going to do? We're going to do some trees. We're going to put you into Where's my green water? There's the green water. There we go. Oops. Okay. I'm going to take this guy, the partner to the other guy, and we're going to, what?
Can't rush art.
Oh, you can't rush that. Art, that's right. Oh, Sophia. Yeah, Doug doesn't get Sophia out of the Machnagrial or whatever. I cannot say that name. Yeah. Unless you're German, most people can't get it. So, yeah. Oh, hey, you're here. Nice to see you. Huh. I just threw my green paint on the ground and, you know. Yes, I'm determined to get paint on my camera. That's the way it goes. Contemplation. Okay. This is going to be one of those that I think is going to have to grow on me for a little bit. Like Sophia said, you cannot rush art. And that's better. Needed something not quite so, yeah, it needed something more up here, definitely, to get rid of that harsh line. Bloop. That's the official sound of paint dropping. Bloop. Oh, and hey, I never did get those flowers in there, did I? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Can't think of a better name. I've seen you in Reese's and probably the Lifeboat, I would guess. That's looking better. Oh, that's much, much better. Okay, there's that. There's gonna be some flowers. We need something, and I'm getting paint everywhere. But at least it's not up on my triceps this time. Last time I did some painting, I got paint right on the back of my upper arm. It's kind of really annoying, in fact. Okay, so I will try not to kick the bottom of the tripod. Can't guarantee that, though. Aren't these lovely? Did I ever mention that I am a messy, messy, messy painter? Oh yeah, I did show them my nails at the beginning. Yeah, and now they are much more colorful. At least that's the word I'm going to use. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. What's
Paint is the best makeup after all.
Yes, it is. They do call it face paint for a reason. You know what? I'm going to put some in here as well, because what is life if you can't have a little bit of whimsy? They're only weeds. I'm putting them there on purpose so they're not weeds. Maybe I'll use some gold. There we go. Get rid of a lot of this pink, but not all of it necessarily. And let's scrumble in some gold. Yeah. Oh, hi, Misha. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Misha. I appreciate that. Misha, you might have noticed that you are a wrench on my channel. I did that because, well, you're here a lot, and I trust you. So I didn't ask you if you wanted to be a moderator for me. Do you want to be a moderator for me? Feel free to kick people out. Crystal, if you make trouble, she'll kick you out. You know she will. You have to tell me out loud, honey, what it says.
Sophia says, grew up with an artist and art teacher. Sticks on you like dry paint on fabric.
That's right. You've seen my shirt, right? Yeah. Yes. Sophia lives in Germany, and I'm pretty sure that's where you're from. Is that right?
She says, I know I wanted to message to tell you thanks so much. I'm honored. Plus, I love me some War Control.
That's my girl. Yep. So you'll notice that I'm using the gold in between the fields to create more of that windrow effect that Janet was talking about earlier today. Yes, I know, Crystal, you are always on your best behavior. Unfortunately, that's not great. I love you, my sweet. I mock because I love you.
Do you have a big size wrench? I need to open my catering roll since they have lids sealed and tight.
I have seen those really giant wrenches, let me tell you. Yes, that's right. Okay, so there's that, there's that. I think I'm going to finish off with the little bits of gold around just to kind of create the grid roads that we would call them in Saskatchewan, range roads, township roads in Alberta. Yeah. Yes, you're up in the sky. This is a drone shot. Mostly because I messed up with my perspective. You guys are going to forgive me, right? Okay. All right. So that is where I'm going to finish for today. I'm not 100% in love with it, but like I told you before, always, always, always look at your painting through a photograph or through a camera or something like that, because it will always look different through a photo or a camera compared to what it will look like in person. No one is ever going to sit this close to a piece of art and sit there and critique it. Yeah, the clouds I really like. The fields are looking better than I thought. This area could use a little bit of work, but yeah, they're bulrushes. Really, really, really big, big bulrushes compared to the canola field. So we'll have to figure out what to do over here. But yeah, we'll do something there. I like how this water has reflected the sky up here. I'm really enjoying that. So this is it for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for following me. And Doug's laughing at me again. I don't know why he does this.
You're stuck with your head sitting in front of it. I think you froze. I don't know. Walls, of course, next time, though. Grounduation might be in order, Missy. I don't know what grounduation is.
Graduation?
No, ground.
Grounduation. Okay. Yes, yes. Yeah, like I said, my perspective is 100% off on this one. Not happy with that. This is a very amateur looking painting. It's definitely not something I would sell. I love the clouds, love up here, love down here. I like the way this looks, but it's not the final effect that I was after. So we will have to try something else. Next time we will do maybe a sunset over water. I love doing those. Those are beautiful. They are fantastical. They are, they can be any color you want. And I have a technique that I want to try. So we'll see. Next month, that's what we'll do. We'll do a waterscape, a sunset over water. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. Like, subscribe, share, tell everybody how amazing this is. And in particular, thank you for talking to each other and making the chat a really great and safe place to be. I really appreciate that. We'll see you later. Bye. Mm-hmm.